All right, hello and welcome to Swing It and Ding It, an iHeartMedia podcast. This is Moose along with Harry Mays, and hopefully we'll be joined soon by Danielle Matthews. We know they're on the road coming back up to the Northeast Pennsylvania area here for the big NEPA event next week. I'm getting excited for that too.
Looking forward to getting up there next Friday.
Yeah, absolutely. We are presented by Comcast Business, introducing ultimate speed for business, the fastest internet plans yet from Comcast Business, powering possibilities. Also, DraftKings Sportsbook. More on that when we see the line for the Tour Championship. And also All Access GTE. I'm sure we're going to talk about traveling in golf with our guest here. So will be pretty topical at the end of the show. But we are joined by someone who has come to be one of my favorite followers on Instagram. That's Jake Stoutland. Jake, welcome to Swing It and Ding It, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's fun to be here. I'm excited to chat with you guys.
Absolutely, man. So are we, because I am interested in. We have a term here on Swing and Ding It called the golf journey. Like, we talk to whether it's golf pros, whether it's people that work in the game, and very curious to know like what is your golf journey. And with you, when did it start with realizing you weren't playing offensive line, and then how did that develop into your golf journey? Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so I'll kind of wind both of those topics. You're mentioning my dad; he's a football coach, and as the child of a football coach, that means you move a lot,
right?
Like almost every other year. And as a kid who was moving from Michigan, my dad coached at Michigan State, to South Florida. The first thing that I noticed when I moved to Miami, Florida, was I did not fit in one bit. I was a naive kid from Michigan, and these kids down in South Florida were much more mature than I was used to. So I was in a little bit of a depression in the 7th grade, and I loved golf. And my dad said, "Hey, why don't you start going to the golf course?" And I said, sure, that sounds fine. And it bit me. It bit me hard. And I just got into golf then. I was 13. And funny enough, I almost felt behind the 8 ball. I felt like I started too late because kids down there, they're
all year round, right?
Right.
And at 13, they're shooting even par, 72. And I'm like, whoa, this is a different level. But as I can zoom out, fantastic time to start golfing. And it's been a tremendous asset in my life. Golf is just a great thing.
So is this one of these stories where they drop you off at the golf course at 8 o'clock in the morning and pick you up at 7 at night and you're there all day?
Pretty much in the summer. Yeah. I mean, I would go. We didn't have some of the clubs up here are a little more traditional where they have rules. Kids can't walk before 2 or you can't play before 2. My club down in South Florida, no rules. So I got there at the first tee time. I knew the head pro. I knew the caddy master. And he said, go rip it. I was a respectful young man, or at least I tried to be, and they let me go. And unbelievable. I'd walk 36 in the summer of South Florida, and it's hot.
Oh, yeah.
And people up here are saying, how do you go out at noon in the summer out in Philadelphia? Guys, this isn't that
bad. Yeah. So I know there's a lot in between then and now. But, I know this golf is not your day job, right? So how did it transition into putting content out on Instagram and developing a following and kind of, developing these great videos? We do a lot of what's your favorites on this show and you do some really good stuff with that. How did you get to the point where you decided to start, really focusing on golf content?
So I'm in the real estate industry and there's a community on Twitter called Real Estate Twitter, Retweet. And it's a fantastic community of individuals. I've met incredible people. And the way I got started into that is really Twitter writing, the written word and content. And that was another thing where I started to yield tremendous positive things in my life, meeting incredible people that I probably shouldn't have been meeting. Not shouldn't have, but my words were resonating with people. And I realized that I was skilled at it. And about earlier this spring, I decided I wanted to get in front of the camera and see if I could make this work and talk about a subject that I'm also extremely passionate about in golf. And having that skill set on Twitter and knowing how to write something catchy. And then I guess I'm decent at speaking to the camera. And I didn't know that. I really never thought that was a skill of mine. And it's resonating. And I think the secret sauce here is I love golf, and I've been so lucky through my dad and just taking advantage of some of the opportunities that I've been presented, and to get to some of these. I mean, these are like the best places in golf that I've been lucky enough to play, and I'm aware of that. So I think it's just a perfect storm.
Well, you say you started at 13 and you said it bit you, and it bit you, I assume, early on. What was it about the game at that age? You know, you said you started a little late for the, you know, the kids that you're playing with and against down in South Florida, but what was it about the game, and how long did it take before you were shooting par?
Not quick. I think it was almost like a meditation for me. I could go out to the range and forget about all the negative things in my life and focus on hitting a white ball crisply, straight. And it was like my therapy. That I didn't know what therapy was then, but that's really what it is for me. I mean,
I just wrote that down. Hit straight.
Yeah, straight.
It just
Got that.
it was incredible. And how long it took me to start shooting par, a long time. I mean, I was 13. We moved to Alabama when I was 16 or 17. And that's when I started shooting around par. I remember I shot a 67 in my junior or senior year of high school. And that was the first time I broke 60s. My heart was pounding on 17. I put the peg. I'm playing by myself. You know, my heart's like
awesome.
coming through my chest, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm trying not to think about, like, I can call my dad and tell him I just broke 70. And yeah, I did. So,
and then you wound up going to Alabama, correct?
Yeah, I went to the University of Alabama, did not play golf.
Right.
I could have played at a lower.
Yeah. Did you think about trying to?
I did. And at that point, I had really high expectations for what my golf game could have been, and I was not meeting my internal expectations. And that really impacted my play. I was not playing up to what I felt I could be, and therefore did not have a real great senior high school season. And I could have gone to some lower tier schools, and I decided that I wanted to go to the University of Alabama. I experienced how great it could be. I lived in Tuscaloosa. My dad coached there, and we won 2 national championships. And I knew a lot of the players there. I had a tremendous support system in the athletic facility, and it just felt like the perfect place. And when I decided to go there, my dad was working there, and it kind of worked out great because he left and came here to Philadelphia, but I stayed. So I already had the infrastructure. I knew everybody. I was up there all the time, but my parents were 15 hours away. So it was not bad.
Not bad. You didn't cross over with JT while he was there, did you?
No, I think, I did.
Oh,
I don't
did?
know him. But
oh, you don't? Okay.
there.
I was going to ask if you ever played golf with him, man. That needs to happen.
I would love that. I don't think I'd play with him. I know he plays with Coach Saban a good bit. And Coach Saban was at, North River Yacht Club. That's where I played out of. He was always up there. Bumped into him more than a handful of times out there. So it's a good little place down there in Tuscaloosa.
So how much of a mission is it for you? Because I know it kind of is for us, of like, you want to see the best places, right? How did you go about, like, all right, we've seen some of the stuff you posted. We totally agree with you when it comes to the city of Philadelphia. We call it an embarrassment of riches. But what is your process like? And with me, I obviously work in radio and media, and I try to plan my stuff. We just had a client trip out to Pebble Beach, right? I try to work golf into my job, right? Is that kind of how you have been able to navigate it?
Yeah, totally. At least I tell myself it's work, but it's not always. It's good to lie to yourself. Look, when you're enjoying yourself that much, it's hard to say it's work. But
yeah,
for me, sometimes whenever you're in front of somebody, it's beneficial, at least to me. And life is all about. My new saying is, life. It's not about who you know; it's who knows you. And that's kind of what I tell people about the Instagram. It's like
that.
People are coming up to me in random places now. Usually when I'm with my dad, people sometimes come up and, want to, hey, are you whatever, Coach Stoutland? And it's fine. It's great. It's awesome.
Right.
I was with my dad before training camp, and somebody came up. We're like, oh, they're coming to say hello to my dad. They say, "Are you Jake Stoutland? Are you? I will follow your Instagram." My dad's like, "What? What's going on?" But to answer your question, I mean, yes, Philadelphia is incredible. How I choose, I mean, whenever something gets thrown in front of me, and I mean, I know all the courses here.
Yeah.
I have kind of my core architects that I love. William Flynn. I love Seth Rayner. CB McDonald up in Long Island is just
Oh my God. Yeah.
Rayner McDonald. I love those designs. Anything that has their stamp or anything that they've touched, I'm just, let's go. Donald Ross, I think, is tremendous as well. And I'm sure there's many more that I'm forgetting. So
Careful, you're turning Harry on right now.
Oh, yeah.
He's getting very excited.
I'm
I
kind
can
of
see
a
it in
sort of
eyes.
an architect geek too. You
I
know?
love it. I think
Yeah.
it makes the experience of playing a golf course more impactful, because you can when you know an architect, like William Flynn has a bunch of Philadelphia courses around here.
Yeah.
And when you play a Flynn, you start seeing some things that he did, and you're like, you try to envision. I was just playing Concord Country Club out out in Delaware County the other day, and that's a William Flynn. And he took that land, try to envision, like, okay, this was bare land, and he carved this up to make this exquisite hole. I mean, I think 12 to 18 at Concord are some of the best holes around, and that place is seriously underrated. And 12 is a tremendous hole, kind of dives through the valley, and there's a creek, and then 13 going back, and he's got these raised greens with these really sharp false fronts. I mean, if you play a high spin ball and you hit a front pin with some spin, William Flynn will get you.
That's coming off.
Well, I'm a member at the Legacy Club, formerly Woodcrest. I'll have to have you out there because that's a Flynn
Is
course.
it?
Yeah.
I'd love to.
I'm at the 1912 club, and that's a Flynn too.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. It's
so cool.
And Lulu too, which is
right.
a Ross. Yeah.
Lulu's a Ross. And then isn't Kennett Square? That's a Ross too, I think.
I've never played it.
I haven't either. But I mean,
I remember when I was up in I'm actually heading up to the Hamptons tomorrow. I have a friend that lives there, and I've played Sabonic, I've played Noyak, I've played Southampton. I was penciled in to play Maidstone, but it got canceled last year. But I remember playing Southampton and talking about Seth Rayner, and where the dog leg came from and how he lived there for just when you get into that, and you can kind of when you're on the course and you can kind of feel what this guy was thinking. And it's so long ago, right? And you think about the tools they had to do this, right? Now with AI, you could just create a golf course in 3 seconds, right? But I mean, you still have to do a lot to it. But what they were dealing with back then, and just seeing some of this stuff is remarkable.
I wholeheartedly agree. It's art. I love art. I love Impressionism and stuff like that. This is the same thing. I mean, these guys to me are the Van Goghs and Picassos of golf. I mean, they're unbelievably skilled, and the vision that they had for taking a raw piece of land and making it an exquisite golfing experience. It wasn't just everything, how you're going to get from hole to hole, and your experience of seeing a hole, and the experience from the clubhouse, seeing down to the whole course. I mean, these guys were really brilliant.
You always wonder now too, right? How we had Gil Hansen and Court Krantz, some of these guys, you wondered what they think. Do they think I wonder what people are going to be saying about me in 150 years or 200 years, right? Am I putting my stamp on?
Will I be as celebrated as these guys?
Yeah.
And it's crazy that so many of them came from Philadelphia. I mean, it's crazy.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
I don't know what was going on. I mean, I guess there was a lot of capital. There was a lot of money here in that time period, and capital wanted to golf, money wanted to golf, and that made great business for these guys, and the best ones just had business.
Now we've gone down an architecture rabbit hole here, just like that. But the other thing is it's not just designing the hole, it's looking at a piece of land and figuring out the routing. The routing is so key in a great golf course, and these guys just kind of saw it. You know what I mean? It's amazing.
It's amazing. It is truly amazing if somebody were to go out to just a piece of raw land and try to design, if people were able to see what they took into what they made. I mean, I don't think it's really hard to understand how difficult it is.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It really is. And some of these guys, we're so fortunate to be able to kind of see what they do on a daily basis. So Do you treat it kind of as a bucket list too? Are there places that you have circled that you're trying to get to, and what are some of the top for you that you really want to try to experience?
I've started to put that together. I'm certainly blessed that I have played courses that I could not even imagine I would have played in my life. I mean, when I was really into golf in Alabama, Pine Valley was this just place that was mythical. It
Right.
was, nobody got to play there, and
It didn't exist until you saw it.
no, it didn't. I mean,
Right.
this is crazy to say, but in 2013, like YouTube wasn't what it was. There weren't these drone video. Like these were just places in your mind that you went to bed and dreamt of, and you had your own visual. And I've been so lucky to play there a real good handful of times now. And every time I cross those train tracks, I feel like I enter
Past Clementon Park.
Yes, it's a different universe. Like, because you're really driving on that road, and the train tracks are on your right, and there's houses on your left, and some of them aren't.
It's like you're going into a portal.
Yeah, the air changes.
It really does. I mean, it's like a utopia or something. Because the second you cross those tracks, the gate's there, and the thing opens and says, "Welcome to Pine Valley," and it's like, whoa, like the trees are bigger, like everything.
Yeah.
The pine straw is amazing. On my bucket list, I would say Shinnecock certainly on there. I haven't gotten out there yet. Augusta is on there. Out west, Cypress certainly on the list. That might be my number one now. Cypress. Alistair McKenzie is another architect who I'm fascinated with. I haven't played a tremendous amount of his courses.
Pasatiempo's out there too.
I have played.
Yeah.
Pasatiempo, yeah.
Pasatiempo. And then I didn't realize until I recently did a video on Crystal Downs that on his way back, he hit a few in Michigan. The University of Michigan golf courses, one of them is an Alistair McKenzie. And then he obviously did Crystal Downs up north. Crystal Downs, definitely, that I would love to play there. That seems like a fascinating place. That's actually really a Perry Maxwell design. Alistair McKenzie was there and kind of helped route it, but Perry Maxwell.
Perry finished it.
He should get a lot more credit than, I mean, maybe he does in the world of real architecture, but people just see the stamp of McKenzie and it's like, oh, it's McKenzie.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing that I kind of learned by going through all this is a lot of these guys, they worked on parts of these courses, but if they had the biggest name, that's the name that went on the design.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
and Perry Maxwell went on to do Southern Hills and where the Colonials played in Fort Worth.
Yeah,
that's a Perry Maxwell. I mean, he's
really.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That'd be a good.
Sorry, I'm gonna hate on Texas.
No, you're fine.
Not really. They might be like for the amount of money that state has.
Yeah,
for the golf they have, it's not matching up.
No, you're right.
I know they're trying to change that with the headquarters there and all that, right?
Frisco.
But it's a good point, though. You just brought up, Jake, when you talked about, you brought up playing at Alabama, then you brought college golf courses, right? We talked about the course that's on Florida, on the University of Florida. That'd be a good topic for a show, just the best college golf courses,
You're darn right. I was actually going to I should do a video on that. I was thinking about that. There's a lot of interesting college courses. I know Wake Forest has a good one. Ohio State has a good one. And Taconic up in Western Mass is supposedly a very good golf course. And there's a lot of really unique college golf courses. I think Stanford is not home courses, Pasatiempo, but I think they play there a lot. Another awesome place. So many good ones. I mean, you could stay here all night talking.
I think Bama got like $40 million into their practice.
That facility is crazy.
Yeah.
It's insane.
So I hope it's fantastic. I expect it to be great, but I mean, how do you beat like a Yale, a Rayner design, or how do you beat like these old ones? I mean, the new stuff doesn't so intrigue me. I mean, some of the stuff Core and Crenshaw are doing, I think is absolutely fantastic. I mean, you look at like a Friar's Head and it's like, wow, this is fantastic what they did there.
That's on the top of the bucket list for me, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, up in Long Island, you could make your own bucket. I mean, that place is Philadelphia and Long Island. That's
it. And the crazy part is too, and you talked about it, right? Between Shinnecock National and Sabonic, like you don't have to, you could you can walk, like they connect. It's the
Mhm.
same land. The fact that they're all right there is mind-boggling when you're up
It's
there.
it's laughable. It's
Yeah.
like, this is unbelievable. Like, I was up
And
there earlier.
Southampton's right there too, and that's a great
Mhm.
course.
I mean, there's so many. West Hampton is Rainer also, which is also a great course. I mean, there's so many there. It's the bridge, Reese Jones, which is great course. But like, you hear people up there are so spoiled that they'll be like, "Oh yeah, we're playing tomorrow." Like, I heard this guy saying at dinner, he says, "Yeah, we're playing Shinny in the morning, we're playing National in the afternoon." I'm like,
Hmm.
It's a pretty
is
great
that the
day.
best
Yeah.
36 of golf like you can ever do?
Yeah.
Hard
Yeah.
to top that. I have a couple of my buddies from my club are going over to Ireland next week, so I sent the
Mhm.
link to your Old
Okay.
Head piece because they're playing there,
Oh,
and
that
really looking
place.
forward to it. So
That golf
that was
out
cool.
there is something special too. I mean, golf,
Yeah.
it's awesome.
Got to get there next. All right, so we'll get you out of here with this. Give us your let's do it this way. Let's do it a little bit different. Give me your top Philly course,
Mm.
period, and then give me your top Philly course that most people could play.
In Philly course, you saying in the Golf Association of
Yes,
Philadelphia?
yeah, that's
Yeah.
what we use. That's what
Pine
we use.
Valley.
We've
Kind
Pine
of broad.
yeah,
Okay, yeah. So I got in trouble with this because people are saying like this. My
happens to
feeling
us
about
every
Philly
week.
golf went wide, and people are like, "Well, Pine Valley's not in Philadelphia." I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
fully aware of geography. I know geography.
I know the
But if
bridge.
you're from Philadelphia, we have a thing called the Gap,
Yep.
and these are our golf courses.
That's how we go.
Okay, great. So Pine Valley is my number one with a Marion coming in right there, but you only asked for one. So that's my one that's the best. The one that everybody could play, that's a very difficult question. Um, I don't know. I mean, is it Glen Mills is pretty good, isn't it?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I would.
Jeffersonville's really
That
good.
was the other one that I was thinking
Yeah.
of, but I
Yeah.
haven't played there. So
Oh, okay.
but I've
Yeah.
heard that that's like value wise hard to beat.
And it's
Phenomenal.
funny
Yeah.
too, right? There's almost like a mid level to this, right? There's the ones like Pine Valley that it's like you got to be really lucky to get on. Then there's ones that are public that everyone can get on, but then there's other clubs that you can get on, right? Like a Philly Cricket to me, it's a little bit more accessible than a Marion or a Pine Valley. If you know a couple people know a member, you can get on there. So I almost feel like we have to have like a mid tier level.
There's
of,
tiers.
like,
Yeah.
yeah,
The other thing that people sometimes get or have comments about is I'm doing courses that are private and you can't just go up and walk up and play them. And that is true. But if there's a will, there's a way. And it's not like nobody will,
right.
if they'll say no, like there's just talk to your friends and put the word out. And I'm certain that if you're a nice individual, you're a nice person to have a conversation with, and you know how to act on the golf course, you will find yourself at any of these places you want.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I played with Jake Elliott in the Green Valley member guest last year. Would you say he's the best golfer on the team right now?
I mean, I played with him and he's fantastic. I haven't played with the rest of them, but yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not betting against Jake Elliott.
He's a good player.
I've heard Britton Covey's sneaky
Yeah, we've
good.
had him on.
We've
Yeah.
had Britton on the show before too. Yeah, he's good. He grew up playing with the Phenals.
Oh, did
Yeah.
he? I didn't
In
know that.
Utah, yeah.
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 And I mean, he's just an unbelievable athlete too. I mean, Jake Elliott and Covey are great athletes. So I wouldn't put it past him, but I think I'm not betting against Jake Elliott.
Yeah.
Kickers, man, they know how to get their hips through. Like,
Oh, yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
All right. Now, if you could suggest our next guest on this podcast, who would you suggest we go after?
Oh,
It has to be somewhat attainable.
who loves golf? That would be great. I don't know. I mean, my dad loves golf, but he's probably out of the
He's
question.
a little busy right
Well,
now.
busy
he's
this
out
time
the
of year.
question, but he loves talking golf.
Does he? Is he have the same passion? Is that where you got it from with the game? Like, is he
He
playing?
loves golf. He doesn't
Yeah.
love like the history and all that stuff. He loves playing. It's the
Yeah.
same thing for him. It's his therapy. If he
Mhm.
has a day off and needs to kind of clear his mind,
That's what he's
walk the
doing.
golf course and just not a lot of words said, but we're
Yeah.
golfing and good shot. But it's like we're clearing our mind out here.
Well,
Love it.
were you ever able to play with Doug Peterson when he was around?
Yeah,
Because he
Doug's
loves
good.
golf. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
pretty
Doug's
good
a good
too.
player.
Yeah.
He's an athlete. These
Yeah.
guys, these quarterback. So what I've learned, don't bet against the quarterback, the punter, or the kicker. take the big guys.
Yeah.
And let them tell you some number and just say, great, because they ain't going to play to it. The kicker, the punter, and the quarterback, watch out.
Yeah.
Danger.
Well, there's some baseball pitchers and some retired hockey players that are pretty darn good too.
Oh,
Also, because if you look at their mechanics on their sport and with their clearing of their hips, they understand that move.
Well, good stuff, man. Thank you for joining us. Make sure you're following at stout.land. Jake Stoutland. Great follow on Instagram. Great content. Looking forward to seeing more. And thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Great talking with you.
Thank you.
All right, man. Take care. All right, let's take a quick break and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Swing It and Ding It. Great to connect with Jake Stoutland, man. His videos are awesome. They it's funny because I wanted to ask him. He started out almost like talking about travel and tourism a little bit. It looked like right after his honeymoon, but then quickly jumped right into golf and got some great response on videos. But he does them in a really cool style.
Now, how did you stumble across him on Instagram?
Just the algorithm, man. Just following golf, and boom, he pops up, and started watching his stuff. And
because he's got a lot of followers.
He does.
Yeah, like 38,000, I think.
Yeah. The old ball coach, Jeff Stoutland's son, is finding his way in the world of golf. Love to see it.
Yeah, it's funny him talking about, as a young kid moving around a lot, which is typically what happens. But I mean, Jeff Stoutland has been here for a long, long time and probably had many offers, maybe to be an offensive coordinator or maybe even, I don't know, head coach. I don't know if you turned down a head coaching offer, but an offensive coordinator to move up from the offensive line, and must just love doing what he's doing and doing it here.
Yeah.
The Eagles are very lucky to have had him for this long a period of time.
I mean, he's been,
that's the cornerstone.
Those guys talk about him in the highest regard, for sure. And you can see why. Seems like a great guy. So the BMW, I think that Keegan Bradley just has to drive nothing but BMWs at this point.
I think so.
Now.
He's got his second one now.
Yeah. I mean, you can't drive anything else. The captain of the Ryder Cup, the assistant captain of the President's Cup, goes from 50th in FedEx Cup to 4. He gets in just 17 points over Tom Kim to make it.
Yeah.
Boom. $4 million. Last time he won it was at Aronimink. And that last time, he won the BMW. But what a story with Keegan here.
No doubt about it. You talk about going up to 4th in the FedEx Cup. I mean, he also moved up 8 to 10th for the President's Cup standing. So now he's in the mix, right there for a captain's pick to play in the President's Cup next month. So really cool story. And it's cool to see him compete because he's so into it. Like really every shot, he lives and dies with every result.
And now the crowd is so behind
him
because of full swing.
That made the switch because of this full swing. He became sort of like a fan favorite because he got screwed over in essence for the Ryder Cup, and people just root for him. It's like that show really did a lot for him. You talk about Bryson and him have really made sort of heel turns because he was kind of a heel in a weird way, not the same way that Bryson was, but he's very fidgety and kind of goofy on the golf course with all the movements and gyrations. And, he's a New England fan. So people that don't like the Patriots don't like him and all this, but now everybody loves him.
They're chanting USA as he's walking up the course.
Right, he's the new Captain America.
He is.
Patrick Reed is, long gone on live and out of people's consciousness. Keegan Bradley is now the Captain America.
And I'm sure you saw the stat that was posted. The last 2 years, Keegan has 3 wins. Ryder Cuppers, Cantlay, Morikawa, JT, Spieth, and Ricky have a combined 2 wins.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, you said it's his second BMW. He had the PGA a long, long time ago as a rookie. And that year he won, I believe he won the Byron Nelson that same year, but it was prior to the PGA. Then he's won a WGC Bridgestone. He's won the Travelers and he's won the Zozo. So, I mean, plus he's been on, a couple of Ryder Cup teams already, and he's going to be the captain. I mean, it's unbelievable. He shot even par on Sunday. It's like a kind of a tough round of golf. Adam Scott took the lead on him at 1, and then Keegan birdies that hole a couple of seconds later and ties it. They're at 13 under. But then Adam Scott goes bogey at 10, 11, 12, and that kind of sunk him. But
7, 6, and 8 foot putts, Harry.
Yeah.
7, 6, and 8-foot putts.
But
Does
the,
it
but
come
the
down
one
to
on
putting?
11, the one on 11 though, with the par 3 where he hit it and plugged it in the bunker, you're thinking he's going to make a minimum of 4 anyway. He hits a miracle bunker shot to 5, 6 feet, and you're thinking he's going to make par. He's going to get out of here with a par, and he missed the putt. And I think that was a real deflator.
Oh
Because
yeah,
after you hit that bunker shot, you're like, man, I got a chance to salvage a par here.
yeah.
But what did you think of the venue? Because I couldn't get enough of the golf course.
Very cool. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I would definitely be interested in seeing more from there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Sam Burns, right? He shot a 65. He was one guy that like really
Yep.
went
Lit
off
it
on,
up.
on Sunday, but that was a tough course for them. They
It
have
was.
to adjust,
Yep.
right? You got there was a lot of caddy work and a lot of caddy conversations going
math.
on about yardages and
Mhm.
really threw a monkey
Percentages.
wrench at them for sure.
No doubt. I mean, I had Aubert, and he had a chance. He made bogey on the 14th, the par 5. He hit a 430-yard drive in the middle of the fairway. 430. Still has 220 left and hits a 6-iron right in the water. Just mishits it, makes bogey on the par 5. Then got one back at the 15th, made birdie at 17, but it still just wasn't enough. But Matsuyama withdrew with a little injury, so that throws a little bit of a pickle into this week because he's what, in 3rd place?
Yeah,
in the FedEx Cup.
Yeah, starting out 7 under.
But yeah, Sam Burns, what a day he had on Sunday.
Yeah, exciting event, and yeah, I totally agree with you. Very cool venue and setting for that to take place in. So curious to see if more heads that way. It seemed like the guys were talking pretty well about it too.
Yeah, I thought so too. Now, Scotty Scheffler had a kind of a normal ho-hum week. He finished T33 and showed a lot of signs of frustration.
He doesn't seem to be too into this playoffs.
No, he seems very agitated.
Yeah, he's really like giving some long answers in press conferences, and like he does not seem to be loving this at all.
Yeah,
which is curious this week to see what happens.
Right. I mean, isn't this the 3rd straight year where he's come into here with the lead and he has yet to win it?
Yeah.
Rory got him, and then Hovland got him. And now you got Xander. You work your tail off the whole season to get all those wins and a major and the players and elevated events. You win the gold medal, and you get a 2-stroke stinking advantage to start on Thursday, which could be gone by the 2nd hole. How about that?
Pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
How about your game? What's going on, Har?
Sunday had a money match with a couple of guys I love playing with, and we did sixes where you trade partners, every 6 holes. We mix that up every once in a while. Some of the guys don't like to play it, but all these guys were like cool. So we did that. And I was paired with my buddy Brian Lydon for the first 6 holes. And that's the key for me. If he can help me get through the first 6 holes, I'll be okay. And I actually,
how's the new club?
The 6 hybrid.
Yeah.
Oh, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
The weapon.
It really has. And I'm using a heck of a lot more than 2 or 3 shots around. I'll tell you that. But on that 2nd hole, I actually choked down on it on Sunday and hit it over the green almost 20 yards past, not 20 yards, maybe 10 yards over the green. And the pin was in the back left. I had no green to work with. I'm hitting off a hard pan. And these guys are thinking, here comes a 5 or a 6. I chipped it to 3 feet, and I had to make the putt and made the putt for a par for a 3 for 2 to win the hole. So that was where the round really took off.
It's beautiful.
So, yeah.
Beautiful.
Made a birdie on 7, hit it to 6 feet. I made a 4 for 3 on 18 to halve the back, which was huge. So we had a good day.
Nice.
Yeah,
I played since we last talked. I played the 2nd round up at Lake George at Ticonderoga.
Right.
Took about 8 strokes off my score from the 1st round. A little course knowledge.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, it's beautiful. I had definitely coming around. I just need to play a little bit more. I know that sounds funny because I came off a stretch of playing a lot. But
I hope your wife hears that.
But it's I was thinking I haven't played the Legacy Club. I don't think since our outing. Like I've been traveling a lot. Like it's it's not like I'm not playing golf, but I haven't played a home round. I'm dying to get back home.
Right. You're gonna walk into the Legacy Club with all this gear from all these places, like your hat you're wearing from
Due Process,
and all this
great saying
stuff. And
oh, they're all giving it to me.
Yeah,
text and social media and everything. But I hate to do it to myself, Harry. I'm heading up to the Hamptons this weekend. Golf clubs are not coming with this year.
Oh no, because you go up there quite often. You got buddies up there. So
Yeah, yeah.
what?
What
No
happened is my
golf?
buddy Gino opened up this brand new gym in Sag Harbor, like this high-end gym.
Mhm.
And, we want to go check it out and do a workout the one day. And the schedule with the wives, friends are coming up and just not in the cards this time, man.
Wow. I
And
hate to do it.
I hate to do it to myself because there was talks about Maidstone opportunity.
Oh man.
And that's a major bucket list for
Weren't
me.
you supposed to play there before?
We were scheduled 2 days before. Actually, my buddy Gino got COVID, a couple years ago, and we had to bail. So
Yeah.
I've been scheduled twice to play there, and it for some reason it hasn't worked out. So
Wow.
elusive, but yeah, I'll get back out. And then we have the legacy member guest coming up in September, like 11th, 12th. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, Greeny is out this year.
Oh, he is.
Yeah, our wives are going away, and
Oh, they're going away together?
they're going away together with their
So
family. With the fam, we're staying home, and he doesn't. He can't. He has too many obligations with the kids for those 3
okay.
days to be able to be over in Jersey. So
Okay.
Brian Dowell, our friend from Compass Realty, he stepped right in.
Oh, yeah.
He's ready to go.
I'm sure you had many takers.
Brian's actually in Casa de Campo right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, sending pictures from Die 4 today. So yeah, I gotta get to the home club. I gotta get there and get some rounds in before
Yeah.
this, man. I gotta get warmed up because
Yeah.
I wanna play well in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I went to see Coop about a week and a half ago, and had a good hour on the on the range, and used the Foresight the launch monitor, and got my swing speed. He got me up to 140 at the end of the lesson, which I've never been to before. The highest I was low 130s. We got it to 140. So
Sweet.
going back again this week. We want to keep moving. He's trying to get me, really back. I never would really. I had no backswing.
Shorter backswing,
I
right?
had such a short. I'm an old man, with no flexibility. Well, the flexibility's coming around, and now I'm able to turn. It's just a matter of doing it.
Yeah.
And he's getting in my grill, and that's what I need. Yeah. So I'm going to see him again this week.
Looking forward to seeing it in action at the Country Club of Scranton.
Well, that's next Friday, so I'm looking forward to that because you, me, and a couple other guys going out early in the morning that day, right?
Yep. Then doing the show live from the patio at the Country Club of Scranton before the NEPA event while the guys are up there for their practice rounds. So yeah, always look forward to that. Hopefully we get a great weather day again because we got a beautiful one last year.
Yeah, they don't have to rush home to watch the Eagles game. They start in Brazil that night. That's going to be a long day.
It is. It is. That's right.
Yeah.
How are you? Are you excited for the Creator Classic going down?
Well, I probably won't watch any of it. I mean, it's not really kind of my type of an event. Although I am interested in a couple of the participants.
Right.
One named Paige and another guy named Fat Perez. I mean, I love that guy and I love Paige, but I probably won't see any of it.
I'm just wondering, like, when these guys are out there, they have camera crews. How many camera crews are going to be out? Like, is there a limit? Do they say no? That's one footage. Well, Chad Mumm, who's involved with the project, will be on soon. We'll have to talk to him about it. But yeah,
I'll watch highlights of it.
You'll see highlights. You'll see plenty of clips. There'll be YouTube clips and Instagram clips. So curious to see.
I like the concept of it.
Yeah,
I mean, the golf content creators going at it on. I think they're playing 8 holes, and then there's like a playoff on the 9th hole. Like they take some of the qualifiers through the first 8 and they play the 9th hole. I think that's how they're doing it.
Okay. All right. Yeah. We'll have to check it out.
And it's at Eastlake.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is really cool.
Be a great preview of the course. That's for sure.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about President's Cup, right? Cantlay, Clark,
Yep.
Wyndham Clark still qualifying for stuff. Cantlay,
Clark too.
Yeah. I love seeing that. Scotty, Xander. So we'll see how that rounds out. Very curious how the Keegan drama plays out with that for sure.
Yeah, and then you got, Hideki Sungjae, Adam Scott, Tom Kim, Jay Day, and Ben An are the automatic qualifiers. No Canadians automatically qualified. You had Connors, he's the first alternate, so to speak. So he's guaranteed to be in. Pendrith will be in. I think Nick Taylor's going to get in. Do they put Adam Hadwin on that squad too and make it like, max Canadians because they're playing in Montreal?
I don't know. I don't
Hadwin
think so.
isn't playing the best right now.
No, I don't think he makes the cut. I don't.
mean, Cam Davis and Bezaden are ahead of him in the standings, and I actually played a lot better. Bezaden made the top 30.
Yeah.
Cam Davis, did he make it, or was he just on the outside looking in?
I think he's on the outs.
He made the top 50. I know that.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
So that'll be interesting.
Let's talk about the old tour championship at East Lake. It's interesting when you look back because where it starts. You have Scheffler at 10, Xander 8, Hideki 7, Keegan 6, Oberg, Rory at 4, all the way down. Colin, Clark, Burns, Cantlay, and then Sanjay at 3. In 2019, Rory started at -5. 2020, DJ at 10. Cantlay was at 10. Rory was at 4, and finished with a T8 at the BMW. And then Victor Hovland started with an 8 under.
Yeah.
So it's curious to see, like you're giving Scotty Scheffler a 10-stroke head start, right? Like,
well,
if you're even, if you're JT, or
you're down there at like 1 under or whatever, and he's got a 9-shot.
But even if you're giving him a 6 or a 7-shot lead, like some of these guys, it's got to be a daunting task.
Yeah, it does. But I'll tell you though, I remember a year or two. I think it might have been the year Rory ended up winning it. The lead, I think it was Scheffler was in the lead. The lead disappeared in no time.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you're that lead. You're like, I came in here with the lead. And now all of a sudden, I'm in the middle of the first 9 on the first day, and it's gone.
Yeah, it's got to almost mess with you the other way.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to be tougher.
I kind of like to be coming from behind a few
middle of the pack.
Yeah.
Yeah,
to be honest.
I can see that. See that. Well, let's talk about the course, of course, with Harry Mays, because this is a brand new East Lake.
It is. East Lake Golf Club. They've got it to 7,455 yards, about 100 yards longer than what it used to play. Not a big difference, but they made it a par 71 now. They've added the 14th hole is now going to play as a par 5 for these guys. Typically, it played as a par 4. So it's not often where you're only adding 100 yards and you're adding a stroke onto par for a professional golf tournament. Usually they're taking shots away and making courses 72 to 70, and making it really difficult. But a Donald Ross Classic and Andrew Green, who is one of the hottest renovation guys going right now, worked on this all last year, and they based it off a 1949 aerial photo of the place and have brought it back to that. The 8th hole, which is now, it goes along the lake, and it's now a drivable par 4. They've moved the green back, moved the tees up. The 14th hole, I said, is now a par 5. The lake now comes even more into play on the 18th hole for the layup, or not the layup, for the drive. You kind of make sure that it doesn't run into the water. And then 9th hole, which is a long par 3 across the water, they've now brought the green closer down to the water, so the water now is in play there. And there's many other changes. They took trees out everywhere. Fairways have kind of, the acreage of the fairways has increased, which is another oddity. But it's Bermuda greens. They average about 6,240 square feet per green, so they're pretty good size. And the fairways and their grasses are zoysia. But they started on that 14th hole, which is now a par 5. It goes straight downhill, 580 yards, slight dogleg right. If you miss on the right, the rough is really nasty, tough to get to the green and 2 from there. And the approach is to a trapezoid green. Then you go down in the par 3 all across the water at one of the more visible holes on the golf course. 215 yards, total water carry to an island-style green, heart-shaped. Greenside bunker is now gone, and they replaced it with like a tightly mown chipping area. And if they have crosswinds, which they typically do, that hole will wreak havoc. Then you start back up the hill, the par 4 16th, 460 yards, dogleg left, with an 8-foot deep, large grass depression on the right side of the green. I saw Joe Mayo, who was Victor Hovland's coach, have the caddy stand at the top of the green and drop a ball at the edge of the green, and just rolls off, and it goes like 50 feet because it's straight down 8, and then it just runs away. So you don't want to miss right of the 16th green. And then the par 4 17th hole, 445 yards, dogleg left, with 2 large trench bunkers that guard the left side of the fairway and kind of bisect the fairway into 2 different fairways right at the bend of the slight dogleg. A large wide green that's heavily bunkered. And then you take a right turn and come back down towards the clubhouse, the iconic 18th hole, 585-yard downhill par 5, Hogs Back landing area, which kind of makes the fairway less wide, because you hit one side of the Hogs Back, it'll run to the left, the other side it'll run to the right. And then, like I said, they brought the pond in a little bit closer, so it's more in play off the tee. Second shot all across the water. It's good for a shot like Rory McIlroy. A big high draw out of Rory will work right perfectly to this green. Great risk reward hole set in front of that large iconic brick and Tudor clubhouse. Makes for a great finish, and a great finish to a year.
Yeah, I love it. It's been a great year for sure. And when we look at the old DraftKings Sportsbook, it's funny, Harry, we were talking about a lot of college, talked even a little bit about college football. And we had the appetizer last week. Now it's time for the feast. College football is back. Don't miss any of the action. Jump in at DraftKings Sportsbook. It's a full slate of games for week 1, including the big matchup in Atlanta between preseason number 1 and number 16. This is going to be DraftKings' biggest college football season to date. Enjoy the ride now all the way through the expanded playoffs. Plus, all newbies getting into the college spirit. Here's something extra special. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Score big with DraftKings all college football season long. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code DING. That's code DING, D-I-N-G, for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Man, I thought you were going to tease that Temple, Oklahoma tilt out in Norman. The Owls are getting 43, I believe.
Oh, wow.
I don't think it's enough. I still don't think it's enough. I'm saying 52-7. Oklahoma. Yeah, it's a tough start.
40.
They're going to get a nice check, though.
Yeah. So when you look at this, right, it's a tough one, right? You have Scheffler, who's plus 110, Xander at plus 230. The odds are crazy because of the start. There's two guys that jump off the page at me at the numbers they're at. One guy starting for 4 under is Sam Burns, coming off last week at 4,000. That's a big number. And the other guy is Tony Finau, starting at 3 back at 9,000. That's a big number for a guy that's had success and can get hot at any time and hit the ball as far as he does. So not a ton of plays with something like this, because it's a tough one. You got to kind of see how it goes. This is a great one to jump in after day one. But yeah, those two jump out at me for sure.
After maybe those strokes are gone.
Yes.
I like the Finau, because you're right, he can get hot. He hasn't had a great year. But once you get to the final 30, basically anything's possible when you're as talented as these guys. This is Xander Schauffele's like home course. I mean, he just eats this place alive. And typically, when you don't even factor in the strokes, he shoots better rounds of golf than anybody here. And plus,
different course though, right? Huh?
It's a little different, but I just
still feels comfortable.
This guy, he hasn't won since the Open Championship, and all of a sudden we're like, man, what's happened? He didn't win the first 2 playoff events. He did finish, I think, T5 this past week, though, so it's not like he's lost his game. I'm taking him in plus money over Scheffler, plus 125. I don't like what I'm seeing out of Scotty right now. I think he seems to be playing with a lot of pressure on himself, and he seems to be a little frustrated and easily losing his cool. That's not typically Scotty Scheffler. I'll take Xander. I took him in the one and done. Had Hovland the first week.
Still had him left.
Yeah, Ludwig. I saved him for this tournament, hoping to be in the mix, and now I'm out of the mix. So, but I'll take Morikawa too at plus money, plus 100 over McIlroy in a matchup.
I like it. Very good. We talked a little bit about traveling, Harry, and you can't forget, you have to head to the link in our Instagram bio. There's a special portal for our listeners to unlock the golf experiences you've always dreamed of with our official golf travel partners, All Access GTE. This is the time to start thinking about golf trips, golf travel. Hit those guys up. Go through there. They'll answer your questions. Even if you're kind of feeling it out, seeing what you want to do, they have all the experience in the world in making sure you'll have an unforgettably tailored golf adventure out there.
Yeah, I was on the phone. I was on the phone with Dan Dillon yesterday, talking through the Scottsdale trip that we're taking in early December, me and the wife, because he told to call back, late August, because you can't even make tee times until they're 90 days out. So I was on the phone with him yesterday. So we're going to get something worked out there.
Beautiful.
And shout out to Lydia Ko. I don't know if, there was a lot going on last week, But the Women's Open, she wins it at St. Andrews. It's her third major in her career. 7 under par. She outdid Ronnie Yin, Nelly Korda, Lilia Vu, and Shin, who are all T2 at 5 under par. Nelly doubled the 14th, which is a par 5, and made bogey at 17 to fall out. And, or she could have easily won it. But you think about it, Lydia Ko just guaranteed the Hall of Fame status with that Olympic gold medal. She has a gold, a silver, and a bronze, is in the Hall of Fame, and now has her third major. Yeah, hit for the cycle. Exactly. So that was pretty cool.
They played in some conditions too, Harry.
Yeah, they did.
As you would expect.
How about that wind? Yeah, no kidding.
Great stuff. Great stuff. All right, we'll be back next week to recap the Tour Championship and get ready for our big round at the Country Club of Scranton. Thanks again to Jake Stoutland at stout.land on Instagram. Check it out. Great golf content. Talk next week.